Okay, the second part of this standard is to go through and, being given 2 points, come up with the actual equation for the line in the point slope form. So what I've done is, I need a little bit more space, and you'll need a little bit more space too. So I've written these 4 problems on the back. Okay, go ahead and put the video on pause and copy those 4 problems onto the back. Alright, so since we're writing it in the point slope form, let me zoom in a little bit. Excuse me. It's like a hiccup. Okay. We need to have y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. Alright, when we complete this, we need to have a value for m, x1, and y1. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is calculate my slope, which we know is the change in y over the change in x, which is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. xy, xy, 1s, 2s. Okay, so that's going to give me 2 minus 3 divided by negative 3 minus negative 4. Negative 3 minus from the formula, and negative 4 because that's what x1 is. So when you subtract a negative, we're really adding. So I'm going to have negative 1 divided by positive 1, which is just negative 1. So right now what I have done is I have m is negative 1, but I also already have x1 and y1. So putting it all together into the template, I'm going to have y minus y1, which is 3, equals m, we just figured out that m was negative 1, times the quantity x minus x1, and x1 is negative 4. So notice I brought these subtraction signs down from the template. So then I have y minus 3 equals negative 1 times the quantity x plus 4. And that is what we're trying to come up with. That is our equation. Okay, so just gonna finish practicing these. First thing I need to do is I need m and I need x1, y1. Okay, so xy, xy, 1s, 2s, m equals the change in y over the change in x, which is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1, which is going to be negative 5 minus 1 divided by 0 minus negative 5. That's going to give me negative 6 divided by, when I subtract a negative, I'm really adding it. So 0 plus 5 is 5. So my slope is equal to negative 6/5. My x1 is going to be negative 5 and my y1 is going to be positive 1. So y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. I'm going to have y minus, right, from the template here, y1 is 1, equals m, which is figured out was negative 6/5, times the quantity x minus from the template, x1 is negative 5. I need to simplify this to x plus 5. And that's what we're going for. Oh, hold on, let me scoot that up. So the only difference between these two is when I subtract a negative, it becomes an addition. Okay, next one. I've got xy, I have xy. I need to figure out the slope, which is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So that's going to be negative 1 minus negative 2 divided by 4 minus 0. When I subtract a negative, it's really adding, so this is going to be positive 1 over 4. And then, oops, these were my 1s, these were my 2s. So y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. Just figured out that m is 1/4 and y sub 1 is negative 2. So y minus negative 2, this is coming from the template, this is what y1 is, times m, or I'm sorry, equals m, which is 1/4, times the quantity x minus x1 is 0. And I don't really need this. And then I also need to change this to an addition. So I get y plus 2 equals 1/4 times x, right? Because x minus 0 is just x. But it's fine if you leave these in, but you also don't have to. We could also just say y plus 2 equals 1/4 x. And finally, the last one. I have xy, xy. These are my 1s, these are my 2s. I have my slope, which is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, which is going to be 2 minus 0 divided by 2 minus 1, which is going to be 2. 2 minus 0 is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1, so my slope is equal to 2. And then I have my template, y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. So I'm going to have y minus 0 equals m, which we figured out was 2, times the quantity x minus x sub 1, which is 1. Y minus 0, I don't need this minus 0. Y minus 0 is just y. So y equals 2 times the quantity x minus 1. And that's it.